Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Ben Moskalensky Show, Show 18. I know I might sound flustered, but I have a genuine excuse. I have a really, really good excuse. And trust me, by the time we're like even halfway through this episode, I'm going to be absolutely exhausted. So, well, actually, this could be the very last episode of the BMS. I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. But this could be the very last episode. I'll be talking about that closer to the end of the show, so make sure you stick around until the end of the show. If you want to see how this might be the last episode, I might actually just have to cut it off early depending on how I'm feeling. But again, all this will make sense much later in the episode, and we will get to that. I assure you, we'll get to that. But we have many topics today, as you may or may not know. If you are a diehard watcher of the show, you'll know the diehard watcher. You'll know that well, you won't know this. But either way. Last week I skipped an episode because I wasn't feeling too hot. So this week I'm going to be doing a 2-hour one. I'm okay. On the whole, I'm okay. Don't worry. Definitely not endangering my health by doing this, I don't think. There seems to be no sign of that. Sorry for my pauses. I'm drinking orange juice, and I'm actually going to get to that story a bit later as to why I sound so flustered, why I'm tired, and just exhausted. Not sure exactly when I'll do that, but it's not going to be during this segment. Anyways, if you'd like to call in, our first segment is going to be on Super Smash Bros. 4, considering this is the last week before I go to my first regional. I believe it's a regional, not a local. I'll have to do a bit more research, but I haven't seen a bigger tournament in my state, so yes, I do believe it's a regional. Before we get into all that, the number is 719-284-5873 with the pin at 24777. Once again, number is 719-284-5873 with the pin 24777. Anyways, back to the topic at hand, which is currently Super Smash Bros. More specifically, my regional. But if you'd like to talk about something else related to the subject, I would not be opposed to such, as long as it's on topic and you're not a spam call and all the normal rules. So to those of you who don't know, let me refresh your memory on the situation, or let me give you some memories on the situation. Interesting phrasing. So I was doing a bit of. I've been getting better at Smash 4 lately. I've been playing a lot of it. And I was looking into local tournaments because I'm not ready to go to nationals or internationals or anything. I mean, I'm pretty sure you won't be seeing me at CEO anytime soon, or Evo or SmashCon or any of those high-end, super high-end tournaments. But I wanted to start by going to a local. I couldn't find any locals, although I did find a regional. Only one that I could find so far. And that would be Orbitar. Or Orbitar, whatever it's called. I'm not quite sure how you pronounce it. I'll double check. So it's a bi-weekly, biggest one in Seattle. I know that much at least. So I think it's at least the local. And I believe it's the biggest one in the state, since they have some really big names going there. Like Mr. E, which is in the top 20 players in the world, second best Marth in the world. And Konga, who I believe won the last tournament or got second place, who is one of the pro Donkey Kongs. So there are definitely some big names going there, which makes me think it's a regional. And they're having the 35th one on the week of the 27th, or on the date, the Friday the 27th. And it sucks that I missed Mr. E, because last time there was Konga and Mr. E. I missed them both last time, and that was my original plan, was to go on Friday the 13th, but my mom didn't want to, so Friday the 13th was out. So hopefully, I mean, hey, if I meet Nairo or Zero, that'll compensate. I always wanted to have a good set with Nairo, and Zero for that matter. I never got around to it. Mostly because I can't at the moment. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm still a bit flustered, so I thought we had a technical issue. No. So far things are going well. Hopefully the spam callers won't flood. So far that doesn't seem to be a problem. Typically they come pretty early, so if we make it through these first 2 segments without any spammers coming in, we can be pretty safe. Then again, the second segment of these 2 hours, the second half of these 2-hour shows are always more popular. But I'm going with a good friend of mine, Caleb. And we're gonna go. We're heading out to Smash Orbitar 35 in Seattle. And we're not sure if we're gonna do doubles yet. We're both going. We're both gonna enter into singles. And it's pretty cheap actually. It's only like $10 for singles because I believe the venue itself is $5, $5 to get in. Then friendlies is free, but we're not gonna do friendlies. Like, who likes friendlies? Actually, a lot of people like friendlies, but we're not gonna do friendlies. Okay, actually, friendlies are pretty fun. I'm sorry, I keep shifting off topic. Then to get into singles, it's $5, so that's $10. And again, we're not 100% sure if we're doing doubles yet. So we'll talk about that. And we've already come up with our pro gamer tags. I'm Blackwood because I thought it sounded cool, and he is Mr. Amiibo. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to that. I'm not quite sure how it works. Like I didn't see anywhere like it said. And I'm actually practicing the pro circumstances. And I'm gonna some venting of complaints if we have time here, which we probably will. But basically the dealio is, according to him, and I read the rules too, I didn't see this, but according to him, he said that you can't if you enter in singles together, odds are likely you're gonna match up in pools. To those of you who don't know, pools is like early rounds, round 1, 2, 3. They have different ways, but the general early rounds before like top 32, top 16, quarters, semis, finals, and so on. But before those rounds, it's called pools when it's just like the early stuff. So he said like we can't get matched up in pools if we're in doubles, or like if we're in the same team on doubles. Obviously we can still meet up because that would be stupid. Like let's say we both make it to grand finals. What are they going to do? Not have a grand finals just because we're both going to be on the same team in doubles? But in singles, supposedly they match us up right away. I don't like either of these circumstances. I want it to be totally random. Now, I know that might sound like a weird opinion, and before I go into my problem with the whole ranking tournament system, I'd like to address this first. Because many people will say, why would you not want to be matched up in pools? Instead of you both being eliminated, you can actually tell which one is better. And by the way, as of the last time Caleb came to my house, and he's a friend on Instagram, like if you follow me on social media, you probably know him. You can actually, he, for the first time in months, like 4 months, he beat me in a majority of games we played. So props to him for that. He beat me 19-18 last time he was over at my house playing Smash. So props to you, dude, if you're listening. Props to you, because those are some good games, some GGs. Personally, I think I would have won the other game we were playing if we had time, but that's something I can't prove. A Falco main, by the way. I have switched mains, by the way. Many people think I'm still a Toon Link main. Nope, I'm in Cloud now. I know how horrible that sounds, but yes, I'm a Cloud main now. Sorry, I'm zoned out. I'm tired, as you can tell. But we're both, I'd say, pretty good. Like I don't think we're gonna be eliminated in pools round 1. But anyways, back on topic. So some people would say that like, why would you not want to be paired up immediately in pools round 1? That would be awesome. So there's no chance that you won't both get eliminated. You can see which of you is better. The other argument is for doubles, like, why would you want to fight in pools pretty quickly? Like, the odds are one of you is going to make it higher up. And those are both legitimate arguments, but I think my argument is the best. Well, I mean, I hope you think your argument is the best if it's your argument. But that's solely because I want it to be totally random. I don't, obviously, our odds would be higher if we're not, the odds of one of us making it higher would be higher if one of us isn't immediately eliminated by the other one. The odds would go up, and like we're very close in skill. I mean, last time we had 37 games. Last time he was at my house, and he won 19-18. So that tells you how far in skill we are. And my guess is if we played 38 games, it would have been 19-19. And the game before, it's not like he suddenly started making a comeback. The game before the last one was 18-18. It's like we're incredibly close in skill. So like odds are likely we could go up through pools pretty quickly, hopefully, and make it to a round of some stature. But if we fight in pools round 1, one of us is just immediately eliminated by the other, and there's like a certain amount of guilt because like you're doing it to your possible teammate / friend, and like there's a certain amount of guilt in that. if it's just going to happen anyway. And in doubles, like if we keep away from each other, like if we purposefully stay away from each other, that's kind of unfair. I mean, it's kind of like, okay, we want to maximize the chances of going up, but like that's totally unfair. Because then, you know, I mean, you can just be really scummy about it. Like you can treat your opponent like crap, and like where does it stop from there? So I think both sides have their points, but also their fallacies. I want it to be totally fair, and I think he agrees. So I'm not sure if we're gonna do doubles, but either way, we're just gonna let things go as is, no complaints. Even though that would be my personal preference. Once again, if you'd like to talk about this, the number is 719-284-5873 with the pin at 24777. Once again, if you'd like to talk about this topic that we're currently talking about. Wow, that was some serious word extension. The number is 719-284-5847. Sorry, that was map orange juice. 7. Anyways, back to the topic at hand. I have several problems. I have several problems with how Smash tourneys work. In normal tourneys, and yes, I call them tourneys because it's more convenient, and I play a lot of For Glory. Normal tourneys, the way it works, and for like most things, is you go through the rounds, and every round, half the people still in the game are eliminated. Like you start with 128 people. Round 1, 64 are gone. Round 2, 32 more are gone. Round 3, 16 is gone. You go all the way until finals or grand finals or whatever you call it. You go all the way until there's 2 people left, and they fight, and then there's 1 person left. Or in the case of doubles in some sports like team stuff, it would be 128, and then you'd actually wait. 128, 64. Yeah, 120. Yeah, well, it would be the same thing. Just like the final number would be 2, not 1. Because the same number of people would be eliminated. Right. Because fewer teams, same number of people. The way it works in Smash tourneys, and the point, I'm not sure exactly at what point this happens. I'm not sure if it varies depending on tourney. I'm not sure about any of this. But I am positive of what losers and winners are. Or like the term. Basically, and I'm not sure if this is other video game tourneys, all I know is it happens in Smash. If you lose to someone, not in just the game, because even in like pools round 1, you cannot just be eliminated with 1 game. You have a 2 out of 3 set, then the top 0.325% of players, like whoever is left in that margin of people, plays a 3 out of 5 set, and then the final 2 people in grand finals play each set is 3 out of 5, and it's 2 out of 3 sets. So it goes from 3 games max to 5 games max to 15 games max. Minimum of 2 games, 3 games, and 6 games. Yes, 2 games, 3 games, 6 games. Those are the maximums and minimums. And I think that in itself is actually pretty fair, because like, I mean, like, what if some total garbage happens in one stock and you literally just lose it? And that's like the determining factor of the game. Like, even if you're better, seriously, because you lost that 1 game, even though you would have brought it back, you just get eliminated. I mean, how fair is that? You know what I mean? But the way it works is, so you get eliminated after a set, and then you go into what is called losers category. The people who make it are in winners category. People who don't are in losers category. And then you go through winners and losers, and then you go through the winners and losers, and you climb and climb and climb through that list of people until there's winners finals, which is the people who have won. And by the way, at least you only get to do this once. You can't just like keep losing and losing and losing and coming back and back and back. That could go on forever. But you keep going through losers, and again, you only have 1 lifeline. You have 1 lifeline until grand finals. Until you go into winners finals, which are the 2 winners of the semis, the 2 different semis and winners, and the same thing in losers. The 2 winners of losers semis go into losers finals. I know this all sounds super confusing, but I'm running out of time, so I'm gonna make this quick. So then those 2 deal. So then once you have winners finals winner and losers finals winner, they fight in grand finals, which is the grand winner. The thing is, though, it's not just in round 1 if you get eliminated. You can do this at different points, even in Super Smash Con, which is the biggest national. Zero, world's best player, got eliminated in losers quarters, not quarters, losers quarters. Oh no, sorry, got eliminated in quarters. But then he came back for grand finals. But with that math, I don't have time to get into the math, but trust me, if you look at the math, that means some people would have to be kicked out. Anyways, could be wrong on that. Don't quote me, but like check the math out for yourself. With that, we will be moving on to our second segment, which is going to be a more philosophical segment on superstition. I figured this would be a good one, since we're coming up on the spookiest time of the year. And yes, if you're wondering, I'm going to have one on Halloween too. I'm going to have one on Halloween today. I'm going to have one on Halloween next week because, you know, Halloween. And then probably after that, I'm going to do one on Thanksgiving so I can get as many views as is humanly possible. But before we do that, a little bit of orange juice, as I can hear that. And if you'd like to call in for our more, what's the term? Our more philosophical the segment of the show. The number is 719-284-5873 with the pin 24777. Once again, the number is 719-284-5873 with the pin 24777. Once again, our topic is superstition. Very philosophical topic. Now, whether or not you believe in superstition or you think superstition is nothing more than superstition, you have to agree that there are odd things in life. There are theories that, and I'm not talking about religion. Religion, it doesn't count as superstition at all, in my view. I'm talking about stuff like if you go somewhere on Friday the 13th, or if you see a black cat cross your path, or stuff like that, like complete folklore. That counts. I wanted this to be completely clear so I get no hatred. I want to make my points absolutely clear. I wanted to make this clear because I've misspoken in the past, and actually this is going to be one of my segments about one of the times, actually I believe the only major time I've misspoken where it was something of relevance and I claimed I had concrete fact. So if you want to stay tuned for my super legit YouTube apology, make sure you stay. It'll be later in the show, so you gotta stick around for that. Superstition. If you walk under a ladder, break a mirror, and a black cat crosses your path, do you have bad luck? Or is your day just going to continue as normal? Some people just think this is coincidence. Others think it's destiny. And some people just think that don't let this happen to you or you're going to be in bad luck. Now, there are certain arguments. I mean, I don't think there's a single person out there above the age of 9. If you're below 9, this probably hasn't happened to you. If you're above the age of 9, unless you live in North Korea, where you probably don't understand what I'm saying because North Korea, and yet actually you can't know what I'm saying because they don't have YouTube in North Korea, I don't think. There's been some weird stuff in your life. I don't just mean like family relations or anything. I mean something totally out of the blue happens. You meet, you talk up with let's say you're talking about an old school bully, like someone reminds you of a bully. You're talking about with your parents. Then you're crossing the road, and the guy passing by you, wouldn't you know it, happens to be that school bully you haven't seen in 3 years. Obviously, it doesn't have to be that extreme or minimal. It can be things that are much more so than that, or less. But we've all had things like that happen in life. And again, this does not count things, or I don't know what I'm saying again. I haven't brought this up. This does not count things that are purposeful. As an example, one time my dad and I were talking about my cousin. Well, I believe third cousin. Yeah, I believe he's my third cousin who lives in New York. Great guy, by the way. And I hadn't talked about him for he just hadn't come up in conversation for a long time, like a month, couple weeks. And wouldn't you know it, want to guess why my dad brought it up? Because when we went to go visit my aunt later that night, there he was at the house for a short visit, or at their house for a short visit. I had no idea. But see, stuff like that doesn't count because my dad brought up that conversation. I mean stuff that is completely out of the blue. Here's a perfect example. It happened to me the other day on Fort Lorry. Um, I I was looking up the tags of some top professionals in case I ever found them on For Glory. I wanted to like look at their playing styles and see what characters they frequently played, so I knew it would be them. Look at their play style, and like and just tell a story and see if I could find them. And you'll never guess when I go onto For Glory. So those of you who don't know, For Glory is one-on-one Smash online, like the really fair kind of stuff, competitive. I go online and I find Fatality. The first person I find is Fatality. I haven't played Smash in hours. I'd never met Fatality before. It's not like he was in my circle of friends. I don't follow people really on Miiverse other than like close friends or anything. And I'm not getting into like Twitch. I'm not currently getting into Twitch. Although if I become someone of relevance, like top 5 in the state or top 10 in the country, something like that, if I become sure, I am going to start a Twitch account. I'm not sure about Reddit, but I am going to start a Twitch account if I become relevant. But for the time being, I'm going to stick with my current live streams. That was a little update for those of you who follow my Instagram. And I literally fight Fatality. He's the world's, well, in my view, I'd say he's the world's 13th best player, and definitely the best Captain Falcon in the world. His play style is just amazing. You look up like Fatality SSB4 montages on YouTube. It's amazing. You don't even have to look up a montage. Just look up any of his fights. He made an especially strong appearance a couple of months ago at MomoCon 2017. Relatively well-known international. Yeah, I'd probably say top 10 internationals, like really pretty well-known. A lot of people. He got second place. He crawled back from, I want to say, winners finals. I want to say he was in winners, not crawled back. He beat Zero, I want to say, in no, I know he beat Zero in some of the finals. I forget if it was winners or losers. I believe losers. Or I believe winners. And then he lost in grand finals. But what are the odds? Like, this is the first time I'd ever found him. I'd only ever found one. I believe it was one. No, two. I had met 2 professionals before this. I had met Void, and I had met Fatality, and I had met Mars, both of which are better players in my view, but and both of which I defeated. I defeated Void in a majority of games, not Mars and not Fatality for certain. With that pause, and with this pause, my orange juice is gone. Only 25 minutes into this 2-hour-long episode, so an hour from now, or near the end when I'm on my last segment, I'm probably going to sound like a fish out of water, but we'll deal with that problem if it arises. But it's just amazing how superstition can work sometimes, especially in the spookiest time of year. I mean, you never know what can happen. If you'd like to call in with your stories, the number is 719. Wow, I almost said 283. Wow. 719-284-5873 with the pin 24777. Once again, the number is 719-284-5873 with the pin 24777. Some people say that I say that a bit too fast, so I'm going to really slow it down this time just to make sure any of you listening can clearly hear what I'm saying. The number for the show is 719-284-5873 with the pin 24777. And again, our topic currently, more philosophical topic, is going to be on superstition. Now, in my view, now in a majority of cases this doesn't work. In my view, superstition should be science if it was always the case. But how often it's considered to be superstition because it hardly ever happens. Probably henceforth the word super, because like, when does that stuff ever happen? Take for instance, well, pretty much anything in your life where something totally normal and expected happened, even though something unexpected couldn't happen. I mean, I went to Chick-fil-A, and real quick, before I finish this, let me just say, Chick-fil-A is not fast food. I don't rank them the same as McDonald's. See, because fast food ordinarily is meant to be bad, or okay, good at the best. Chick-fil-A is amazing. It's the Olive Garden of fast food restaurants. They're not fast food. McDonald's is good fast food. Chick-fil-A is something else. Chick-fil-A, props to them. Props to them. Chick-fil-A, you guys are amazing. But I was rushing here, got some Chick-fil-A home because we hadn't had lunch. And I opened my bag, and there were exactly the sandwiches that we had ordered for my dad, my sister, and I. On the drinks and everything. I mean, in theory, you know, the food smells good and everything. A rat could have crawled into the bag. The odds of that, super low. Has it ever happened to me before? Nope. Didn't happen. I mean, I bet you can, it's probably going to be a lot easier for you to name more cases. And that's just what you can remember recently. I mean, obviously you remember superstition because they hardly ever happen. You don't remember a lot of these because unless they're super recent, like this one, which literally happened to me 30 minutes ago. And yeah, I'm not kidding about that. This is probably not my most of all time. I don't know how I got on here on time with everything working. There's no technical glitches, or actually that would make it my tightest, considering the show is everything's working okay. I guess you shouldn't really count shows that where I get up late or it's not working too well or anything. Everything is working perfectly fine. Even though I'm a bit flustered, everything else is fine. The software is fine. Everything's up. No more glitches. I don't have to boot any callers. No spam callers. Everything's just going perfect. And it doesn't look like we're gonna be getting any spam callers this time, which is good. We're also coming up on our 20th show, but that's a topic for later. But I'm sure you can name many, many cases where the expected thing happened over the unexpected thing. Sometimes you even expect the unexpected thing and nothing happens. What's a good example? Oh, my grandpa. So my grandpa, he loves entering lotteries because, you know, who doesn't love a lot of free money kind of thing? I mean, you can't pass up free money unless it has, like, you know, unless the devil is giving it to you with a quill and he has like a parchment rolled out. I mean, you can't turn down free money. So he enters lotteries. He enters a lot of lotteries, and he's never gotten more than like $100 back, like the mini rewards. And I think he's actually spent more money on the lotteries than he's actually gotten back. Not much more, but more. And now he's actually been doing a lot less. Like the last couple of months, he's been doing less. But before, he used to do it a lot. And not every time, but almost every time, he'd say something like, "I feel good about this one," or "This is the one," or something like that. And every time he expected it, and no time did it happen. Now, superstition, it can be a weird thing. You can think something's going to happen, it won't happen. You can think something's not going to happen, it'll happen. And if you don't believe in superstition, it doesn't really matter. It can just kind of, something will go and something else will go. It doesn't really matter what you think is going to happen anyway. It has nothing to do with luck or curses or folklore or magic voodoo. But some of it has to do with stuff. I remember one time, I wasn't, okay, I didn't cross a black cat, but a black cat crossed my path. And then the cat got hit by a truck. No, I'm kidding. The black cat on Halloween crossed my path, and every single year I always get a lot of candy. Not tons, but like more than average, I'd say. My parents asked me to throw away a lot of it, or give it to charity or something. I give like 2 pieces of it away. The rest I hide under my bedroom until they expire. Either that or until I finish all of them. Depends on what moves faster, time or my mouth. Then again, considering I do this show, you guys hear what rate I talk at. So, but that one Halloween, I believe it was Halloween 2014, when the black cat crossed my path, I was out nearly twice as long as normal, and I got almost no candy back. And what I did get was all crappy candy. It was like that kind of, it's the kind of candy you hear about in like Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Like, yeah, we kept going over to the dentist's house, and he kept giving us like dental floss flavored candy. You know, stuff like that. Like, no one wants that stuff. You know, like, who's gonna eat that stuff? Anyways, that's gonna conclude this segment. I know we're doing it a bit early and everything, but I'm really excited to get into our next segment, which is going to be our free-for-all. But I'm going to kind of spiral it into something else as well. You'll see what I mean. To you diehard, not diehard, you don't even need to be diehard. You even kind of knowledgeable fans of the show will know what this is as soon as I start. And to those of you who don't, I'll explain it because sorry, that was me throwing away the orange juice. As much as I like, having the experienced listeners, I always like new guys. So like, if you're coming in, we're happy to have you. So not much does this happen. Like typically, people just kind of assert themselves, but like sometimes people have like kind of sneak their way in the comments. Like, hi, I'm kind of new to the community. Doesn't happen much, but like typically they get good reception. Some people are just jerks to them, delete their comments, but typically people are pretty nice to them. Sorry for any clicking you might hear if my voice fades out for just a second. I'm working on getting the stuff ready for the next segment. And this is one of those things you got to do on the fly kind of thing. Well, actually, and this is like literally the only minor problem I've had this entire show. Speaking of superstition, I honestly thought this show was going to go bad for some reason. So far, it's going great. I mean, maybe I just jinxed myself. But like, I don't know, man. I'm really liking it. Anyways, right now we're in our free-for-all section. You can pretty much talk about anything you want as long as it's not totally whacked and, appropriate. So the number is 719-284-5873 with the pin 24777. Once again, the number is 719-284-5873 with the pin 24777. Since I like hearing myself talking, I have plenty of time anyways. Once more, number is 719-284-5873 with the pin 24777. A lot of people say I say that number too much. Maybe I'll tone it down at some point. I'm gonna make a poll as to what I should do for the 20th show, which is gonna come up here 2 weeks. I believe it's gonna be November 4th, but I'm gonna look that up right now. But yeah, come November 4th, we're gonna have a little mini celebration. As we celebrate, November 4th, as we celebrate the 20th show. Hard to believe we're already 18 shows, or well, in about an hour and a half, it's gonna be 18 shows, 18 shows in, but currently it's not. What next? Oh yes. So before I go into this, I'd like to give a little bit of background. I come out every month. I like to come out with lists of my top 10 best video games and movies of 2016. Or I'm sorry, top 10 best and worst video games and movies of X year. Earlier this month, I decided I wanted to do a third list. And I decided I'll do this at the beginning of every month instead of the end. My top 10 show seasons, best or worst. So in this case, it will be Ben's top 10 best show seasons of 2016. And that's basically what I'm going to be getting into. I kind of screwed up here. Kind of like I did on my movies list, which a lot of people didn't like, but a lot of people did like as well. I screwed up with a little bit of the movies or the shows. And if you'd like me to talk about how I do my research for my movies list, I think I'll make that a segment because some people were wondering about that. So maybe that'll be a segment in the future. But I kind of screwed up on movies and shows. But let's get into shows. Actually, no, I have time to talk about movies. I forgot to mention Magnificent Seven. Star Trek Beyond wasn't supposed to be on the list, but I totally forgot about Magnificent Seven while doing my research, and no one else pointed it out and everything. So I kind of spaced out on it until after the fact. I'm like, nuts. Because that movie would have been top 3. That movie would have beaten out Arrival, believe it or not. That's how good that movie was. Would it have beaten out Doctor Strange? No. That movie is not as good as Doctor Strange and not as good as Rogue One. But it is extremely good. If you're looking for a good Western, a good modern-day Western, that really is just really solid movie, highly recommend to you Magnificent Seven. And as for Ben's top 10 show seasons of 2016, my number 2 option should have been beaten out. Not number 1, but my number 2 option should have been beaten out by Queen of the South Season 1. I didn't know about the show, but I don't really blame myself for this as much because like that show. Actually, no, I still do because like it's an amazing show. I don't know how I missed it, didn't put it on the list, but like we literally bought season 2 because it's just so good. But I'll definitely make sure to catch that while doing Ben's top 10 best shows of 2017, which will be coming out February 1st. No, January 1st. My mistake. Sorry about that. Yes, January 1st of 2018. Anyways, without further ado, I believe it is an appropriate time to start Ben's top 10 best shows of 2016. If you'd like to read this for yourself, or in the very unlikely scenario that I do not have time to finish this, it's on my Google+. You want to leave comments and feedback without, getting into all the other stuff, just go to my Google+. It's under my shows collection. I believe it is still the pinned post. So you can check it out. Feel free to. I know I won't have a problem with it. So without further ado, actually there will be a little bit more ado. Because you see, I shreked up a bit. Or I didn't shrek up. I messed up. Yes, as you can tell, I am tired. I am a bit flustered. But again, I will be talking about that. If I make it to the segment where I'm going to talk about that, then I'll definitely talk about that. That segment, to those of you who are wondering, it's not going to be this segment or the next one, but my little apology thing is going to be the next segment. So if you want, you can skip. Wait. Well, my next segment, the next segment after shows. I'm kind of counting free for all and shows as one right now. But if you don't want to count it as such, then you can skip to an hour 15 or an hour in, basically, roughly about an hour-ish in, to get to my quote-unquote apology. More like my own correction, since I don't think I did something horrible, but I do feel like I owe an apology to a person that I fake newsed. Was it accidental? Absolutely. I'll never fake news somebody purposefully. Was it a horrible fake newsing? No, it was not, which is why I don't feel very guilty about it. But I am going to apologize because it was a genuine mistake on my end. But that's going to be coming up after the show segment is over, which is right after the hour. But yeah, the whole show update and why this might be the last show, although probably not, seeing as how things are going right now, that'll be coming. I assure you it's not because of the spammers. That I can tell you ahead of time, because as you can tell, the system's actually working really nicely. I mean, I don't think we've had any attempts, but if so, I haven't noticed. And I mean, I can have a million attempts. Well, actually, no, I can't. I can't have too many attempts at a time. It handles more than one spammer at a time, because like a lot of times spammers like group together and start calling in 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, even 5s or 6s sometimes. Very rarely, but even those numbers sometimes. So it can't handle like 10, 20 people, but it can handle more than one. So without further ado, dang it, there's another ado. If we don't finish on time, then I will be just talking about other stuff like in the show's community. Now, without further ado, I will start my dramatic reading. Number 10, Mr. Robot Season 2. And again, I'm doing this in terms of seasons rather than shows themselves, because you can't really pin down. It's hard enough, because like if some shows stretch multi-year, I'm sorry, if some seasons stretch through 2 years, like start in September of 2015, end in May of 2016, and then the next season of the show starts in September of 2016, ends in May of 2017. Kind of hard to say how that'll go. And actually, I made 2 screw-ups on this thing. I didn't include Person of Interest Season 4 on here, which would have been... would have been like number 4, would have been announced Stranger Things. So yeah, I definitely messed up with this list, but hopefully I'll do better on my worst shows. I have some really bad shows for that list. I think worse than how good these ones are. I know that sounds a bit confusing, but now we're going to start. So yeah, again, I'm doing this in terms of seasons, not shows, because again, you can't really pin down a show to a year. And even if you can, it's kind of hard to mix. Like what if some shows, like what if a 1-season show makes it onto the list, but another show that has several seasons also makes it onto the list? You can't just say both shows, because one show it's weird. It's weird, but I think you guys get it. If you don't, just ask. Number 10, Mr. Robot, Season 2. Mr. Robot is honestly one of the weirdest shows of its time, and I like it for that. I mean, they PC'd it up a bit for Season 2, which I don't like, and even the premise is relatively PC. But Elliot, the protagonist, is so brutally honest about so many things. Other than that, it compensates. Real quick before I move on, I don't know why I love brutally honest characters so much. Like one of my no, not one of my favorite comic of all time. Yes, my favorite comic of all time. There's some comics that come close, but none that are superior to Watchmen. Watchmen. If you are okay with very gory comics that are extremely dark but still have superheroes in them, Watchmen is amazing. But like I guess you can. I personally would consider Rorschach to be the protagonist of the deal. I just think it's centered mostly around him. I don't know why, but I just got that feeling. He's so brutally honest. I just love him for it. But Elliot, the protagonist, is so brutally honest about so many things that other things that it really compensates. Mr. Robot Season 2 is not as good as first, but it was still relatively interesting. Two-sided story, and for that I applaud it. Not as two-sided as I think it could have been, like some of the movies that made it onto the list for last year for 2016 for the best movies, but still good. Better than a lot of shows are doing, both old and new. Everything in Mr. Robot is just okay to good, but things will turn up. I promise you that. Number 9, Timeless, Season 1. This show provides some fascinating historical lessons and is on the whole pretty interesting. I think it would normally be worth a watch due to how interesting it is. A man goes back in time and changes it, so several other people have to set the timeline right. It's honestly kind of interesting. The thing is, and I know I've already said this, but it's just so PC that you can't read. Brings up all kinds of historic racist eras and equates them to today. At least that's what I've heard. I haven't seen the show myself. So I'm not 100% sure of that. Don't quote me, but I believe that's what it was. I mean, just get the bad guy. You want to see Robo-Soviets, not a philosophical one-sided debate. Again, this is just what I've heard from some reviews. I'm not 100% sure if that's the case, but like I don't doubt it since I've heard that. But this is a show I've watched for myself. The next one that I can totally vouch for. Number 8, The Get Down, Season 1. I know I've been pretty hard on these last 2 shows, but this is where it stops. The first season of The Get Down is amazing. Everything about it. It takes place in the 70s New York, in some bad, rundown, primarily like black criminal neighborhoods kind of area. More criminal, actually, I'd say. And it talks about the real struggle at the time. Yeah, I said black neighborhood. I meant criminal. Sorry about that. Little type. I keep typoing. With some amazing music. You honestly feel for every character. Everything feels perfect, not to mention some awesome characters. The villains of this show were just so good. The second season wasn't quite as good as the first, but the first had the music, the acting, and the ideas to put it on the list. Anyway, sorry, real quick, we have a small technical glitch. It's not going to be anything fatal, but I just want to get out of the way and keep in case things get worse. Hold on. Some real riveting commentary. Okay, is it good? It's good. Moving on to my number 7 decision. Number 7, Westworld Season 1. J.J. Abrams has directed some all-time classic movies. Star Trek Into Darkness, Mission Impossible 3, Star Trek Beyond, Armageddon, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, and more. But not as many people knew he directed shows. Fringe and Lost are a couple of my favorite shows, both of which were directed by him. I don't know why I had to say that. Kind of obvious considering I was just talking about it. I'm not just going to bring up Fringe and Lost. In fact, another season of one of his shows was barely kicked out by Mr. Robot Season 2. But, oh, I must have ranked it as better than POI Season 4? No, I must be thinking about something else. Weird. Anyways, but Westworld joins that awesome group of awesome shows. No, sorry, joins that group of awesome shows. Sorry if I cut out some parts. Like I think I might have written them not as bad, and I just don't want to get into some parts which I do stand by, but I just don't think I didn't illustrate well, and do not want to get into, since this is going to be one of the less controversial topics on the shows, and I want to keep it less controversial. And I know that this show has been pretty lax. I think I'm gonna increase things for the next show, or like the next couple of shows or something like that. Sometime soon it's gonna get a bit more extreme again. But I just kind of want to chill out since things have been a bit rough lately. But when you have a super director and when you know how to pick roles, which he does, the result is a masterpiece like Westworld. Number 6, Blacklist, season 3. Perfect segue, actually, for me to talk about something related to Blacklist deeply, which, spoiler alert, is Blacklist, if I have time to. Because right now, it's 3:45. We're officially in our show segment. I'm not going to give away the number again because I don't want any callers currently since I'm kind of running through the list right now. So if you call in right now, sadly, I'm going to have to boot you. But hey, what can you do, kind of thing. I guess you just kind of gotta wait. The next topic is going to be a bit more interesting. But again, this is going to be definitely one of the more lax topics. So I'm just going to chill out for this one. So number 6, The Blacklist, season 3. The first 2 seasons of Blacklist were masterpieces. And if this got onto the list, then I can almost guarantee you seasons 1 and 2. I must admit, this show is slightly worse than seasons 1 and 2. But when you're a solid 100% show in my book, it's okay if you drop to like 96%. The Blacklist season 3 resolves the immediate issues of season 2 masterfully, while not becoming a show with the sole purpose of proving Lizzie's innocence. It still kept its amazing Blacklist charm, wit, and intenseness. But the thing that truly elevates this show to the point where it's this high on the list is one thing: James Spader's Raymond Reddington. I could have made this segment a lot longer, probably longer than the one on Timeless and Get Down, but like, I can't even describe to you how Raymond Reddington acts. James Spader, or if you know James Spader, please, you are one of my favorite actors out there right now. You're amazing. So like, if you're looking for a new show, highly recommend pretty much all of the shows on this list. Some more than others, some are meant for different audiences, but in the whole, I'd still recommend, on the whole, I'd still probably recommend all of them. As long as you're okay with gore and some. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think there's a single kid show on here. There's some that are TV 14. Actually, no, there is one. But most are not. And kind of interesting because a lot of kids movies, not a lot, but yes, a fair number of kids movies made it onto the top 10 movies. Weird. Back to, sorry, I keep drifting away. Now we're going into my top 5 show seasons of 2016. And everyone knew this was going to be on here, so we'll just get into this. Number 5, Game of Thrones, season 6. There's really not too much to say here. Unless you live under a rock, I'm sure you've heard about this show. This season was pretty par with the rest of them. Amazing visuals and storytelling with some very nice acting. Every episode got no less than 87% on Rotten Tomatoes. Ben says misspelling, then I really need to edit this one these days. So that pretty much tells you about it. Out of 29 critics, 28 of them at least liked it. I could go on and on. If you're into gore, I don't just mean you're okay with it, I mean you like it. Then this show has everything else already waiting for you. Season 6 is just an extension or a part of that. And let me be clear, you need to love gore to like Game of Thrones. It is horribly gory from everything I hear, even by the standards of shows I watch, which are ordinarily relatively gory. Number 4, another show everyone knew was going to get on here, Stranger Things season 1. My next 2, again, I'm kind of free speaking here. I'm not going to, I mean, like, sometimes I'm going to free speak. As you can tell, I'm not just like sticking to a strict script. That's such a tongue twister. Even tongue twister is a tongue twister when I'm this tired. Sticking to a strict script. Try saying that 10 times fast, because I can guarantee you I can. If this is free for all, I'd try. But I can't. If you want me to try some kind of vocal challenges throughout the show, maybe that could be an interesting idea for a topic, kind of like Ben's personal challenge, since I do kind of give some kind of similar things to you guys sometimes. Maybe I could stop being a hypocrite and do them myself. But everyone knew this was going to be on here. So after the sheer pleasure I felt after seeing Stranger Things season 1, I cannot even begin to tell you. I spelled it like to tell, but to tell you how hyped I am for season 2. I actually have a kind of a bad feeling about season 2. But then again, it's coming out on October 27th, which should hopefully be a very good day. There's a lot of nice stuff happening to me this week. My dad's birthday, including parties and all that sort of stuff. School should be a little bit more lax. We're going to be doing some really cool stuff in social studies. My Smash tourney, which I told you about. And just I think there's some other things there's definitely some other things I'm forgetting about. Some family stuff I don't want to mention, but like things are actually going really well. And again, I'm going to get into some other details about the good stuff during my later segment of the show. But for now, I'm just going to keep moving on. I keep getting sidetracked. Sorry about that. I'm no longer in free for all. I cannot English. My orange juice is gone. So like on one hand, I'm dehydrated, but on the other hand, I'm super pumped. The show takes place in the 80s, and honestly does a very good job of portraying such. The story and graphics are superb. It seems like every element of the show was planned out and executed by some sort of super perfectionist. And of course, don't even let me get too far into the acting. Even the child actors rock. Where can you find good child actors anymore? These have to be the first really good ones I've seen in ages. Everything in this show is just superb. I cannot recommend it enough. Number 3, Shooter. An SJW, get triggered easily, are a feminist, voted for Hillary, or liked Zootopia, please stand clear of this section with a hazmat suit. The first season of Shooter is honestly amazing. I mean, the concept's been done, and the acting I wouldn't say is exceptional, be it very good. I said good, it's actually very good, but not exceptional. But this show is just something else entirely. Bob Lee Swagger, an ex-sniper, has been framed for the murder of the Ukrainian president and has to prove his innocence. It sounds about as generic as it gets, but instead of flooding the area with PC stuff, it's about as anti-PC as it gets. The moral of this show couldn't be less PC, and that's a part of what makes it so great. I don't mean in the sense that it's like racist or like KKK approving. I mean in the sense that it's like it's not pro-diversity, it's anti-discrimination. That's what I mean. The fact that it shows nothing but complete and utter respect for our soldiers and veterans, which it does. Like so many people like, oh, military evil. Like, no, fam. I genuinely despise you if you do not like our military. Like, screw you if you don't like our military. I do not see myself retracting that statement. Our military veterans, you guys are heroes. If you're listening, police, firefighters, military veterans, you guys rock. You guys are just awesome. And anyone, thing, or cause that does has my immediate respect and following. Number 2, The Americans, Season 4. The Americans is primarily about Russians. Yep, that's what I thought too. This show is honestly incredible. It shows us the lives of Russian spies pretending to be a normal American family. But not only are there problems with law enforcement, but even problems in the family. It's an all-out war, but not one like in Shooter. This is a Cold War, the Cold War. Every episode got a rating of 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 44 critics out of 44 liked it. This season was superb, even by the American standards. Its only fault is it has a lot of hackers. I mean Russians. That was sarcasm. That was sarcasm. Number 1, this is a show that many people know about, but is like gruesomely underrated. I mean, horribly and violently underrated. Number 1, Better Call Saul Season 2. This season wasn't as good as the first, and it was still amazing. And this shows you how amazing it was. I ranked it as my best show season of 2016, even admitting all mistakes that were pointed out by some people I know. Very few mistakes were pointed out, and most of which I've noticed myself. I still put Better Call Saul at the top. The worst season of the 2. I haven't seen Season 3 yet, but after how they ended Season 2 and with the legacy of Breaking Bad in the first 2 seasons, I will do anything for Season 3. I will get that season. Like, snap fingers, get Season 3. Show of the year, in my view. But I'm guessing you came to that conclusion, too. At least I hope you did, because I did say that this was my favorite show of the year. But there is nothing not to like about the show. It's hilarious, intriguing, fascinating, amazingly shot, just everything. I mean, when you have Vince Gilligan and Bob Odenkirk in it, it's already a recipe for success. But this is just next level. Watch any episode from this season, and I guarantee you will adore it. The intro alone gets it into top 10, and trust me, that thing's a masterpiece. Listen to that thing. It makes Breaking Bad look like nothing. Better Call Saul is a masterpiece. Both season 1 and 2. Just kidding. Show the year DC's Legends of Tomorrow, baby! Anyways, 5 minutes left in our 4th segment, which is once again shows. Ordinarily, I'd be kind of getting ready to wrap up the show, kind of coming up with some concluding remarks, and just kind of get ready to wrap up the show. But this is a 2-hour show today, so nope, not yet. Number, if you'd like to call in, is 719-284-5873 with the pin 24777. Once again, the number is 719-284-5873 with the pin 24777. It's kind of funny. My dad, a friend of his, gave him a bottle of Coca-Cola, and I don't remember exactly what it was. I don't remember what was so special about this bottle, but he still has the bottle here. It was like some really big day for him, and I recorded in his office because it has like amazing setup. But that bottle is still here, and considering how thirsty I am, and it's like 20 years old, I want to say maybe even 30. So like, right now I really should have brought up something more than like a third of a bottle of, no, not even a third, like a quarter or a fifth of a bottle of orange juice. Anyways, with our remaining time, I just like to say real quick, first of all, season 5 of almost said Breaking Bad, Blacklist, totally as good as season 3. Season 4 sucks. Season 4 was disgusting. Like with the exception of the last couple of episodes, which were okay. No, they weren't stellar, but they were good. Terrible season, just awful, disgusting. But season 5 is amazing. Like, totally go watch Blacklist season 5. Anyways, let's look into some shows that we have right now in 2017. Just a little bit of review. Stranger Things season 2, unless they massively screw it up, I have a very strong feeling that Stranger Things season 2 is going to make its way onto this list. Game of Thrones season 7 or 8, I'm not sure what you're going to count it as, but I'm sure that'll make it in because like no season as of yet has disappointed. Fun fact, Walking Dead is actually from comics, like DC Comics. Yeah, I had no idea either. But I highly doubt that show will make it on to the 2017, because let's be fair, it's Walking Dead. Same applies to Crazy Ex-Girlfriend and Arrow. Star Trek Discovery, my mortal nemesis. I can almost guarantee you that's not going to make it on. Big Bang Theory, I don't think I have to answer whether or not that's going to make it on. Spoiler alert, no. Supernatural, I don't understand everyone's fascination with it. There's so many horror shows. I have a massive problem with the horror genre. That's probably going to be a segment on my next show. Or maybe I'll even talk about it here since I'm talking about Halloween. Actually, in fact, that's what I'll do. I'll talk about that. Instead of just Halloween stuff, I'll add that onto this. But the horror genre is deeply flawed. So like, I don't understand what everyone's addiction to Supernatural is, but like, whatever. It's a weird, dumb show. Like, it's super gory, kind of weird, but the acting isn't horrible. Scandal, not a bad show. I mean, I'm actually watching it right now, but I'm watching like season 1 right now. It's just not bad, but like, you know what they say, season 1 is almost always the best. By the time you reach season 3, it's almost never going to be as good as seasons 1 and or 2. So like, if it better not diminish in quality, or else, boy. Flash, I've heard some amazing things about Flash, but I need to see it for myself. I don't know, man. There's definitely some disappointment that I didn't put Flash season 3 on the list, or season 2. I forget which. I think it was season 2. But I'll watch it, and then I'll scold myself if it actually is as good as everyone says. Grey's Anatomy, come on, that show is so drawn out that at this point that like they all just want money. Good Place, terrible. Wait a minute. The 100 is an ongoing show. I love that show. I didn't know it was ongoing. Well, as soon as this show's over, I'm gonna have to like fly into my Netflix. Like I have to fly onto my couch and like check out Netflix, see if they have the next season. I thought the show was over. That's awesome. Or maybe it's ongoing. Lucifer, terrible idea for a show. Gotham, I hear they're actually getting better, but like I don't know, I just didn't like it too much. Supergirl, no, it's not terrible. Unlike BoJack Horseman, neither of those are making on, but just no. Mr. Robot, wow, didn't cover Mr. Robot. 60 Minutes or Better Call Saul, yeah, I wonder if that's gonna make it onto the list. Hawaii 5-0. No, just no. Same probably applies to Gifted, even though they do have some good actors. Blackish and American Horror Stories, I probably not. Same with Madam. Actually, I'm not sure about Madam Secretary. I got to do some more research. And that'll do it. Oh, right, and of course, Young Sheldon. I mean, that's it so far that I can think of, or that I'm looking at. But like, come on, Young Sheldon's probably not making it up. Anyways, we've reached the half point of the show. Haven't had to quit early yet, luckily. And that's a perfect segue into our next segment, which is going to be on YouTube. I want to start with my kind of apology and explain why I don't feel too bad about it, but at the same time, I do want to apologize because I am in the wrong here. And I'm going to explain. But after that, I'm going to get into my disdain for people who dislike Nostalgia Critic. But all of that in good time. Right now, if you'd like to join me, actually, you know what? No, not yet. I'm gonna do it I'm gonna do it in the next segment. This would be better as a solo segment, I'd say. I mean, obviously, actually, yes, I can. So don't call. But yeah, the next segment is definitely gonna be much more not viewer friendly, but caller friendly. But anyways, I'd like to start with my apology. So I've talked about the fact that I dislike Markiplier. I always like to pick my words carefully, and frankly, if I misspoke and said hated, that was only a misspeak. I never meant hated. At no point did I ever mean the word hate. It was a misspoken word that I did not mean to say that slipped out. At no point did I purposefully say that I hated Markiplier. I have said that I disliked Markiplier. And I now retract that statement, and I apologize to Markiplier because I was uninformed of the entire situation. I thought Markiplier was honestly a phone. I see now that I'm wrong. He does tons of charity. He stays up hours. He films he does all kinds of stuff with his fans that he doesn't have to, that he's not really getting any recognition for. I'm actually considering resubscribing to him. I think he's putting more effort into his stuff now. He's had a relatively rough life, and I just gotta say, I'm sorry, Markiplier. If anyone here knows Markiplier, I'd like to apologize to Markiplier. I didn't say anything. I never said anything too horrible about Markiplier because I never felt too horrible about Markiplier. I'm considering resubscribing. I'm going to watch some of his stuff. Consider that. I think many of his opinions on things are wrong, but I realized after my love for Nostalgia Critic and my hatred toward their haters that I would find myself to be a hypocrite if I liked Nostalgia Critic but did dislike Markiplier. And who knows? Maybe I'm just like psychoanalyzing the gaming genre too much. So it's just a gaming genre. So I think I was looking a bit too far into this. Sorry for that. That was my bracelet. Typically you never hear me with my bracelet on because I'm ready for the show. But again, I'm going to get into that into the last segment. So don't read into my words or anything. I'm just going to tell you my honest opinion. If you want, you can talk about this or not. I don't honestly care. Markiplier, I apologize for something I did not do horribly wrong, but something I still did wrong. That's it. No need for a drama alert. No need for here's the guys. Oh, it's scarce there. And today we got all news. No need for any of that stuff. That's it. Drama's over. Honestly, I don't think Markiplier's even ever acknowledged me, so that's fine by me. Who knows? Maybe one day I'll become a Let's Player. No, I highly doubt that, but if I do, Markiplier, I'm open to you anytime, dude. You want to collab? Totally good. And yeah, if anyone's wondering, I would apologize to Markiplier in person, even if he didn't know about my wrong sayings at the time. I would apologize. I would apologize to Markiplier in person if I ever met him. He's probably not going to see in the comments, so all I'm doing is kind of like leaving myself vulnerable for people to say like, "Oh my goodness, this scrub." But if for some reason I ever leave a comment and he replies to it or something like that, I will take that opportunity. Otherwise, I won't. And many of you will see that as a way of chickening out or something like that. Those of you who know me, know the show, and know how I like to conduct myself know that that's not the case. But like, I mean, the people who know how I conduct myself, I don't have to explain myself to you, because you already know. And the rest of the people, they can either learn or they can just make fun of me for no reason. I don't really care. And without further ado, my hatred towards the haters of Nostalgia Critic. Now, if you don't like Nostalgia Critic's content, I'm fine with you. I know how weird that sounds considering I just said I hate Nostalgia Critic's haters. But again, as I literally just stated in my apology, there is a difference between disliking and hating. Disliking is just not really approving. You don't really like it. You're not a big fan. Hatred is true. How do I even describe hatred? It's just a true feeling of utter, complete, and non-stop resentment. Very big difference. Dislike is like the diet or light version of hatred. Or you could look at it like hatred is the version of it's like disliking on steroids. Don't care how you look at it. You get the idea. Hatred is greater than disliking in math terms, or H is greater than D. Wow, I gotta stop thinking about algebra. Why did that sound so scripted? Weird. Horrible jokes aside, I've been getting into Nostalgia Critic, and I find his content to be hilarious. If you don't like Nostalgia Critic, that's fine. I mean, if you don't like his content, that's fine. You don't like his video, you leave a comment saying you could have done this better. He gets something wrong. But I don't think, unless Nostalgia Critic does some horrible crap, I don't think there's a reason I will ever unsubscribe to Nostalgia Critic, even if his content goes downhill. By the way, it's not. It's the exact opposite. Nostalgia Critic has only ever been getting better and better and better and better. Despite the fact that so many content creators on YouTube, not including Markiplier, by the way, I've seen some of his later videos. I think he's actually doing a lot better and putting a lot more work into it. So, I don't know why I'm making it sound like I'm sorry. I'm not praying to Markiplier. I can assure you that, but wanted to make my no need for an exposed video. That's all I gotta say. No need for an exposed video. But the thing is, Nostalgia Critic, he does these like weekly charity shout outs to like all kinds of great causes. He's done hospitals, and he doesn't ask for anything in return. It's not as far as I know, but like he just does this out of the kindness of his heart at the end of his Nostalgia Critics, after the credits and everything. And I don't know, I don't know why, just the way he does it, it really touches my heart. I honestly think Nostalgia Critic's a great guy for doing that. And I mean, that's pretty much it. That's all I gotta say. Wow, I really wrapped that up quickly. I didn't think I'd get into that quickly, but that's why I despise it, because Nostalgia Critics, honestly, like, it's such a great thing that he's doing for all these different charities. I'm not sure if he still does them, but back when he did them, at least, like, he did a lot of these, and you can tell he puts tons of work into his videos to get them out, the amount of quality that they have to get them out at the rate that he gets them out. And this just props to you, man. Props to both of them. Wow, this is a lot happier than most of my segments. I typically make a joke about Kim Jong-un and either how he's gonna nuke Seattle, or he's fat or something like that. It's just like, whoa. Sorry about that. Deleting a comment. I swear, not because it's just a differing opinion. I promise you. Promise. Pinky promise. It doesn't even have anything to do with the show. So, what other news should we get into? I mean, this segment is on YouTube in general. Thank goodness it didn't just call it my apology and my disdain, because boy, would that be terrible. I would have, that would have been really, really bad. But I mean, luckily, let's see what's on trending. Let's see what's on trending. I know it sounds a bit like a cop out, but like, do you have other ideas? Because I don't. And this is kind of similar to my review thingy that I do sometimes. Hashtag excuses. All right, so let's see what we have here. Of course, in top 5 on trend. Yep, of course, top 5 on trending is always going to be a music video. Typically, even number 1. Knew it. Number 5 on trending. Rabble, The Village. For some reason, Jack's Films has been getting a lot more popular, and I see why. He's actually pretty cool. I don't have like the same love for him that I have for Nostalgia Critic, but he's actually a pretty cool guy. I think he's a nice dude. He seems to be relatively nice, and like I don't think his comedy's too out there. I think he's a bit too biased in the wrong way, but like it's not a bit too is very different from extreme. Of course, the Fine Bros, the React trademarkers, unbelievable, are on trending again. It's amazing to me how they got away with doing what they did. They literally copyrighted reactions. How do you do that? Sorry. Um, then of course there's always going to be like a BuzzFeed video on trending. Oh wait, no, it's Good Mythical Morning. I've never understood the fascination with Good Mythical Morning. I watched one of their videos. I don't know. I think it was them, or maybe it was Mythbusters. I forget which, but I'll have to look into them again. I just don't know. And like sometimes you see funny videos. Like you look at, I mean, I can tell by this one video alone that it's funny. How to waste $200 on Amazon, and it shows a picture of like some weird pen fidget spinner thing, or at least something that looks about as useful as a fidget spinner, next to some guy who's like looking at you with like the what is wrong with you, the glasses, like the eyes, like I mean stuff like that deserves to get on trending because even like that stuff's kind of funny. Somehow $10,000 dog versus $1 dog is still on trending. Jack's Films thing. And it's so nice to see an animator on trending again. Yeah, it's honestly so sad how the YouTube algorithm works. It's about quantity over quality, not quality over quantity. Because of the unforgiving YouTube treadmill where you have to upload weekly, that's the only reason I'm even somewhat relevant. If I had the upload schedule of Colossal is crazy, no one, not even few people, no one would care about this channel. But it's just so nice, and I put some relatively hard work into my videos. I'm not gonna like, oh, my videos are nothing. I do put hard work. I don't care what you guys say. I know how much work I put into my videos. And the fact of the matter is I do put some hard work into them. Not just the video themselves while I'm doing like the multi-hour things, but just in general. But I mean, if people like animators, they put in the most effort, but they have to do it like frame by frame typically. And because that can take a long time to get like voice singing and everything up, because it's very different when you're recording live audio, like with a normal video, audio syncing is nowhere near as difficult. But with animating it, you have to literally sync it up, all of it manually. It's even easier in movies, because at least in movies, you have some base audio to go with. Animators have nothing, especially like low budget ones, like most of the popular ones on YouTube. So it's really nice to see. I guess the odd one is out. Really nice to see another animator on trending, because it's so nice to see that, because like so many people are getting screwed over by YouTube's I can't English, by YouTube's algorithm. My goodness, I don't know why I keep stuttering. If this was like the normal 1 hour, actually no, not even that. If I wasn't exhausted and like just totally nuts, then cool. I'd probably be like no stuttering, just nothing. Wow. So Jack's Films posted a video parodying BuzzFeed, and guess what's #2 on trending this week? $3 ramen versus $79 ramen. BuzzFeed. I don't know how they're on so long. Of course, there's another new Jake Paul song on trending. No shocker there. It's on trending this week. Why? 2, 4. It's #6 on trending, it seems. Sorry, #7. No, oh my goodness. No, there's Logan Paul somewhere here. Just wait for it. I will not say a word until I see Logan Paul. Or we've run out of time. Okay, Logan Paul's not here. Great. Wait. Oh, it wasn't Jake Paul to begin with. It was Logan Paul. And there you go. Kind of weird how iDubbbz's content cop did not make it onto trending. Did anyone notice that? I actually talked about this, I believe, on my last show. Where was the new content cop on trending? I don't think it made it to #1. The Tana Mongo content cop, which is nowhere near as relevant as he put Jake Paul in the title and talked about rice scum. I mean, seriously, that is insane. Way, way bigger than any of his past content cops. Like, now he finally went to someone who is beyond his league, like a times and a half as many subscribers as him, I believe, and he still beat him. I don't think rice scum's popular anymore. It's the iDubbbz curse. If you even try to attack iDubbbz, which is something I'm never going to do. Leafy fell. I believe How to Prank It Up fell, even though he wasn't that high to begin with. These baby toy channels fell. Leafy fell. Tana Mongo fell. And after Tana Mongo, I forget how to say her name. After all these things, Keemstar didn't fall, but that's because it's impossible to topple Keemstar, because considering how much drama there is with him. Like, I don't blame him for that. But I mean, toppling Leafy is arguably more impressive. But he finally got to rice scum. He can do this to anyone he wants. That's what's scary about iDubbbz. He can do it to anyone he wants. Anyways, we're going to be moving on to our next segment, which is going to be Halloween. Spooky, scary, scary. That's top. Man, if I get copyright striked on this video, I'm going to shriek for like 3 seconds of Disney. Then again, Disney's kind of like the Nintendo of copyright striking. Or, I mean, the Nintendo of that. Because, wow, do they have many videos removed because of that stuff. Both Nintendo and Disney. But now we're going to talk about some of those spooky, scary skeletons. Now, the last time I was on the show, I'm not sure if I talked about this, but if I didn't, I'm going to get into this right now. My school, the ASB, I believe, no, is that what it's called? I forget. Or ABS or SBA, I forget what it's called. The high school people. The people who do the high schools. Who are in charge of like the student body and all that sort of stuff. Which is both adored and hated by many people in my school. I have mixed opinions on them, mostly against them, but a lot of drama that I don't want to go into, at least not yet, or now, I mean. And what they do, they decided to set up a Halloween prom, the Ghostly Gala. And it's on the 27th of October instead of the 31st, which is a school day. But I guess like there's some stuff where like people get offended by Halloween, so they can't legally call it a Halloween prom, even though everyone's calling it a Halloween prom, and even their marketing it as a Halloween prom. Officially, it's a Ghostly Gala, 4 days before Halloween. Not related, but whatever. And this falls on the same day and time as my regional. Now, as you can tell, I keep talking about my regional. I went with the regional, decided to go to the regional. And I stick with my decision. I've already been to a school prom. I had a good time, but I already went to one. And I don't have it's not like I have a girlfriend to go with. And besides, a Halloween prom's not a real prom. A prom's a prom. This is a little party. I don't know why they're not throwing another party again. You can't, it's not exactly very romantic, because, you know, proms are all about romance. And you know what? No. I don't know why I'm so triggered, but I'm going to define prom. A formal dance, especially one held by a class in high school or college. Well, we have a middle school version, but you get it. Now, typically dances are romantic, especially high school or college dances. They're romantic. That's the point. What is romantic about a skeleton kissing a vampire? You see what I mean? There's nothing there to it. It's not exactly cool to slow dance when you're, I don't know, Barney the dinosaur and Godzilla. As you can tell, I've like run out of creative ideas. Like I went with vampire and skeleton, like normal stuff, and then I'm like, Barney the dinosaur and Godzilla. Wow, I actually do a really good voice of myself. I wonder why that is. But I don't know. I just kind of find it to be funny. I think there's like way too much hysteria about Halloween costumes. I know this is a bit of a vague topic, but I wanted it to be vague since it's Halloween. Like, why not? And by the way, many people have been wondering what I'm going to be for Halloween. I'm done with like the whole elaborate costume things. I personally think I'm too old for that. Like, I see college students, like college students or adults doing the trick or treat, and I'm like, great, good for you, fam. Leave my front door, please, now. No, they never come to my house, but like I've definitely seen them around, and they're not just going with their kids, if you're wondering. They actually just like go to get their own candy because they're like too fat and lazy to go up to the store and like get it for themselves. They kind of want to reminisce about when they were probably small, skinny, and had a good life and no crippling debt from college. Wow. Wow, I got real there. Anyways, if you'd like to call in, the number is 719-284-5873 with the PIN 24777. Once again, the number is 719-284-5873 with the PIN 24777. I swear, at some point, my number spewing is going to become like light speed. It'll become to the point where like no, not even light speed. Like it'll be faster light speed. It'll be light speed is a lot faster than speed of sound. So like you can't even hear it. So the number is, and back to the topic at hand, which is again Halloween. That was actually a perfect segue. I don't know how I segued that so well. Ben says destroying his own segue. So I think there's like way too much hysteria around. And many people have been wondering what I'm going to go as for Halloween. John Scarce. Yes, I'm proud of myself too. And no, him all you want. You're only going to see that fat man. And there's no other John Scarce. He's not a historical figure. He's not a British king or duke, emperor, toilet cleaner. John Scarce, the meme. Is there an eagle outside my room? Okay, as a ball, I think like an eagle or a huge eagle or hawk or something like that sits on the tree. Back to the topic at hand. Sorry, that really caught my attention. Yo, that is super weird. There's like this big like bird that I can't even tell what it is, but like maybe it's not even a bird, but like there's some huge animal in the tree like ruffling it up. Weird. But I think like people are just going nuts over Halloween. Like I'm sure there's gonna be some deal. There's probably gonna be some people getting triggered by certain Halloween costumes because they get some sort of trigger. In my view, it's just insane how glorified Halloween is. Because you look at Thanksgiving, New Year's, like some actual holidays. Heck, Columbus Day for all I care. But that's just like seriously. I mean, Halloween, you're making a bigger deal than that. Like Christmas and Halloween, bigger thing than some real holidays, like actual religious holidays like Easter. And I myself don't celebrate Easter, mostly because I'm not Christian. But I mean, it's okay. I'm not like I have a problem if you do, but like I just don't think that holidays which are kind of pointless, like Halloween. I'm not saying Christmas is pointless. Christmas, fine. I don't think Christmas should be as important as Easter, which is an actual religious holiday. But Halloween we can all agree it's pretty much useless. It's just like for having fun. It shouldn't be blown up as much as it is. I mean, there are literally articles out there right now about Halloween. Again, a holiday that should not be very well known. And then there's some hilarious stuff in these articles. Here's the best state to trick or treat in this Halloween by USA Today. So basically, I'm gonna fly over to another state. I just have to drive to get some slightly superior. Oh, glitch. No, don't. Please, everything work. Please, everything work. Please, everything work. Please. Oh my goodness, yes. So yeah, I'm gonna drive multiple hours or get on a ferry to go to Oregon just to get some slightly better Halloween candies, even though I live in a neighboring state. And like I read an article saying like this dentist is giving is offering kids cash. Wait, dentist is offering kids cash for their Halloween candy. Like this is just funny. But I mean, I do understand why people like it. Like it's honestly, we have so many things nowadays that like everything is just so tense. There are all these foreign relations, economic problems in families, divorce rate is going up. People can't even trust the current administration. Well, that's been happening since the dawn of time. People haven't trusted administrations and government. this and that and that and this, and it gets so depressing. It's nice to just put on a Halloween costume and just go get some candy. But then again, even that's kind of being ruined now because people are taking it so seriously. It's like people can be sued for wearing a certain kind of costume. And I understand like how some costumes can be super offensive. Like you dress up as a Nazi, like that stuff's not funny, man. Or like you dress up like mocking a certain race or religion. That stuff's not funny. But like you want to dress up as a character from Moana, not because of their race, but just because like you like the movie Moana. I don't see why you like Moana, but as an example, like that's not racist. That's just you want to dress up in a Halloween costume. But everyone is making things so unbelievably paranoid that you can't have fun anymore. Should there be limits? Absolutely. I don't think anything should be limitless. But except happiness. That's not true. Some people don't deserve happiness. But I mean, I just think things are taken too seriously, even with like holidays. Anyways, with 5 minutes left in our current segment, I don't know what to talk about. Oh man. So the number, as I try to violently, as my brain violently scrambles to multitask on the one hand, and scratching the back of my head, that's that constant scratch. It's not a technical glitch. My head's really itchy. And as I try to do all these different things at once, the number is 719-284-5873 with the pin at 24777. Once again, the number is 719-284-5873 with the pin 24777. Anyways, I'm gonna start getting ready for our next segment, which is gonna be movies. And I know you're wondering, well, it's the segment you said about all the stuff with the show. That's the last segment, actually. I figured we've been close enough, and I've already been getting enough reviews. But like, I figured, whatever, man. Why not put it at the end? Might as well go out with an exciting end, like talk about all these interesting different things. Now, the next segment, I'm gonna have a lot to talk about. I mean, no, not a ton, but I'm gonna have a definitely good bit to talk about. I don't think there's gonna be an issue with movies to talk about. But that'll be our next segment. Again, our next segment is movies, but we're gonna wrap up Halloween. I'm gonna wrap up Halloween with a concluding statement. I know I'm gonna spend an entire 20% of the segment talking about a concluding statement, but screw it. My show, my choice. In the end, Halloween is meant to be fun. It shouldn't be glorified, shouldn't be nitpicked, shouldn't be underlooked, shouldn't be overlooked. Halloween is fun. You get on a costume, and as long as it's not something like, super inappropriate, but like you get on a costume, you maybe you invite a couple friends over, and you can either go out and trick or treat, go to a party, or just stay home with friends and watch some movies and play some games. You don't have to spend 5 hours making a DIY Halloween costume. You don't need to spend forever thinking about what could the best way be, how can I nitpick at some little irrelevant detail about Halloween that will not impact my life. Just get ready for it a couple days before, and when the 31st comes, have a good bit of fun. Anyways, don't know why I got so man, my apology was more lighthearted than that. And this was totally irrelevant. Are you kidding me? It was a squirrel the whole time. That thing on the tree was a squirrel. The more you know. The number, once more, before we move on to our next segment, and I know I'm going to be doing this a little bit early, but whatever, it's going to be a couple seconds early, going to be like 40, 30 something seconds early, so who cares? The number, 719-284-5873 with the pin 24777. And I know Sammy and Jen and pretty much everybody I know says that I say this too much, but I'll say it again. The number is 719-284-5873 with the pin 24777. Sorry if my voice fades out. I'm kind of messing around with the chair. We're in the final quarter of the show, so my brain is starting to go a bit loopy. Yeah, but we hopefully we can get into some more controversial, some more historical, and some more book related segments soon, because there's going to be a lot of stuff coming on. At least with two of those things. I don't think much is happening in history right now. History is being made, but I don't think things are happening 100 years ago right now. And now that you have a headache, movies. All right, first movie we're gonna get into, Geostorm. Now, I didn't know what to think about Geostorm. It looked like an interesting concept that people can basically control weather. 11% sounds super fun. So if you're looking for a genuinely bad time, I'd highly recommend Geostorm. At least according to Rotten Tomatoes. Then again, you cannot trust Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes said Zootopia was amazing, and American Assassin sucked, when nothing could be farther from the truth. Anyways, the next movie on our list right now is The Snowman. I saw some trailers for this. It's basically a horror movie about a serial killer who kills whatever women he doesn't like and puts their heads on snowman or something. This is luckily I have time to talk about this. This is my problem with the horror genre. Everything is about how gory we are, how edgy we are, and how loud we are. It's no longer an art. It's you have to follow these very specific, very exact rules, or else you're or else things are not going to be good. Things are going to be the opposite, but they're going to be the polar opposite of good. And I just feel like this is a massive issue with an entire, not a small genre. It's horror. The horror genre used to be something amazing. It used to rely on creepy sound effects and story, or creepy sound effects, visuals, and story. Story is a key thing in order to creep you out. That's one of the reasons I like Bendy and the Ink Machine. Yes, it's scary. Yes, it's flashy, but that's a very small part of the game in comparison to the bone-chilling story. That's one of the things with Five Nights at Freddy's that's so disappointing. Five Nights at Freddy's has such interesting build. I'm not counting fan base. Fan bases have nothing to do with games. It has such an interesting story, such an interesting build-up, so freaking terrifying. And what is the payoff when you finally get caught by these haunted animatronics? Right. And then they jump scare you, and then they kill you, and that's it. No clever no clever death, no weird noise, weird visual, no reveal where like the child is in the animatronic. Nothing. It's a jump scare, and people fake being scared at jump scares for views, but it doesn't scare anyone else. Doesn't matter if you're playing the game, or if you're doing this after you play the original Five Nights at Freddy's. And the second one. After the second night of the game, whenever you complete it, third night tops. That's it. You're not scared. You're not scared anymore. You're not scared. Unless something is, very rarely do you get scared. Even some of the people who ordinarily fake being scared of the jump scares pretend, or they don't pretend, they just are like, okay, no one will believe me at this point, so I'm just gonna kind of, look sad and everything for comedy's sake. And that's it. And this is what I hate so much about this horror genre. It's a natural instinct. They're basically exploiting a natural instinct. But once you do that a lot, it just gets on your nerves. That's all it does. It doesn't bone terror. It doesn't like freak you out at all. Of course, when I brought up this genuinely reasonable criticism at school, every single one of the people that dislikes me, of course, started shaking their heads. Then again, they're all millennials, so not surprising. Wow, I think I have more hatred towards my own generation than pretty much anyone else. But I'm sure The Snowman is the same thing. I don't think I've seen any horror movie recently that relies on what is truly scary. Something that no matter how many times it happens to you will not scare you because it's always unique in its own individual sense. I mean, all the horror genre does nowadays, it triggers a fight or flight reaction in you. And there you go. That's horror. Ah, whoa, a jump scare. Oh no. That's the entire horror genre nowadays. It's no longer about story. So frankly, I'm happy deals like I'm happy people are finally catching on and giving movies like Snowman 9%. Next movie I want to talk about is Tyler Perry's Boo 2, A Medea Halloween. 8%. Now, I'm not so happy about this because it got a super low rating, but because of the cast. I'm going to give you the cast of Boo 2, A Medea Halloween. Tito Ortiz, don't know him. Diamond White, don't know her. Youssef Erakat, jackpot. Now, you might not know who Youssef Erakat is, but if you are even somewhat invested in the YouTube community, or if you listen to the show, or if you have ever heard Philip DeFranco talk about people he doesn't like, you will know that name. Fuzzy. That is FuzzyTube's real name. He was one of the main roles in this Boo 2 movie, and it flopped on his face. I'm sure it wasn't because of him. I'm sure his acting was as mediocre as always. He's not actually a horrible actor. That's only because he went to a really popular YouTube channel. But I don't know. I'm just kind of happy about that. Anyways, somehow an anime movie got 91%. That really surprises me. And again, it's been a while since we had a good anime movie, so I'm kind of happy to see that. A Silent Voice, apparently, so look into it. Apparently, a Tokyo Ghoul movie came out, and it's pretty good. It's just pretty good. Not stellar. It's just pretty good. So I'm not sure what to think about that. Tokyo Ghoul is a very weird show. I only seen a little bit of it, but I wouldn't say very weird, but it's relatively weird by anime standards. If you compare any even normal anime to a normal show, then it's gonna be like, what black magic hath I see this day? Anyways, I'm gonna look at some of the movies this year, just give you my general opinion on them, not just like the latest ones, which I just went into, but I want to give you some of my opinions on the others. Blade Runner 2049, from everything I hear, it's not horrible, but it's definitely not good. It's like, okay, yay, Harrison Ford's in it, cool. Where's all the fun, cool story from the first one? And why is it so long? Why is it so boring and then boring? I mentioned it's boring. It's just boring, which in my view is nowhere near as bad as being bad, but it's just boring. So that's my deal on Blade Runner 2049. Wonder Woman is stellar movie. Once I got some great recommendations from friends and people I don't like as well, but who butt in on Wonder Woman. I went into it a bit hesitant since DC had a horrible year in 2016, but man, oh man, did they do an amazing job with Wonder Woman. I loved Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman was just amazing. Everything about it was just so good. I genuinely extremely enjoyed Wonder Woman. So if you're looking for a really good superhero movie that's relatively realistic, super good, just stellar acting, everything's really good, Wonder Woman's your movie. Star Wars Last Jedi, I mean, everyone really already knows about this. I have extremely high hopes because of the trailer, but then again, I also had some very high hopes for Force Awakens. And I was okay. I was satisfied with the result, but not very much so. Not like with Rogue One, where I was ready for a semi letdown after Force Awakens, and then was like slapped in the face by something amazing. Thor Ragnarok, I'm feeling relatively good. I think it's gonna be on par with the rest of their movies, like pretty good, not exceptional. Definitely not like Guardians of the Galaxy or anything, but like probably gonna be better than Thor 1 and 2. Justice League, I mean, I'm gonna be super. I have my highest expectations because I watched the Justice League show as a kid, which is referred to as like the best superhero show of all time, and I understand why. And I'm not talking about Unlimited. Unlimited was a freaking garbage remake. I'm talking about the real Justice League. You know what I mean? Those first 2 seasons, the key 7. I'm never gonna forgive them if they screw up Justice League. I already gave you my complaints with it. Same with just the horror genre in general. Spider-Man Homecoming, I hear, is like mediocre. And by Spider-Man movie standards, that's actually exceptional. I don't know why they keep screwing up. War for the Planet of the Apes. Now I'm about to get triggered. Ready for the feminists to engage in 3, 2, 1, triggered. This movie was so genuinely awful, beginning to end. I can't think of a single really good thing I liked about it. They brought back Caesar. That was it. That was it. That was it. That was either totally emotional and like way too touchy, or it'd be completely inconsiderate to the feelings of others. It would be super deep or like shallower than a pool of water. It's like, what are you going for? And they're just trying so hard to be PC. They're trying so hard to be PC. They want that like that pity rating so bad. What a terrible way to end out a pretty good trilogy. I mean, ugh, disgusting. Logan, I love Logan. Logan totally deserved its rating. Logan got on Rotten Tomatoes 93%, and I hate Rotten Tomatoes. Like, I screw Rotten Tomatoes, but like I'm okay with them in this case because like Logan was exceptional. Logan was just exceptional. Highly recommend Logan if you're okay with rated R movies, because Logan, I can almost guarantee you is going to make it onto my top 10 of 2017 list. Probably same with American Made. American Made, I hear, is very good. It sounds like a very interesting story. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, in my view, was as good as the first one. I love Guardians of the Galaxy 2. But it was totally original in and of itself, which is honestly what a movie sequel should go for. It should have the key things from its predecessor, which is what made it famous enough to get a sequel, but not copy the story in the fear of a diminished rating after copying the same thing. That's what I mean. Can you think of a single movie sequel that either copy and pasted or went off into a totally different direction that was actually good? Because I can't think of one. It always has to be that middle. Kingsman: The Golden Circle. I already talked about this. What my complaints with Kingsman: Golden Circle. If they just stuck away from the weird philosophical messages, I feel like it could have been all, not quite, but relatively close to as good as the original, which was amazing. Alien Covenant. Is that out? I haven't seen it if it's out. Alien Covenant is out. They rated Alien R. Unbelievable. No wonder I haven't seen it. I'm going to have to do some research into that, but it's not rated too highly, so I'll have to look into it. They probably made it super PC. Beauty and the Beast, no, sucked. Dark Tower sucked. Lego Ninjago movie, do I even need to say it? Now, Foreigner. I am extremely excited for Foreigner. First of all, Jackie Chan, 59%? Excuse me? Oh, it came out on Friday the 13th. That's why. Interesting. But unbelievable. I was so excited. It looked like Taken, but with a much better actor. Ooh, super. But I mean, unbelievable. It looks so good. It looks so good because, like, enough of these deals where, like, the protagonist, good guy in that world and everything. No. Jackie Chan is on a killing streak. But, oh man, it's this. Then again, I can't trust Rotten Tomatoes as far as I can throw them. I can probably throw a tomato pretty far, but I'm weak, so, you know. Transformers: The Last Night, nope, sucked. Mother, thank goodness that movie was awful. John Wick, awful. Kong Skull Island, that movie was actually not bad. I was a pretty big fan of that. Annabelle Creation, I already gave my complaints with the horror genre. Annabelle's no different. Ghost Story, I can already tell you it's rated R. Yep. 91%, because spooky, scary skeletons get high ratings. Valyrian and Valurian, and I don't know how to say it. But the City of a Thousand Planets. I hear this movie is good. Wait, 49%. I believe my mom saw it. She said it was good. But then again, my mom couldn't stand Rogue One, so I'm not sure what to think. Lego Batman movie out. I'm missing every movie. Apparently, it was pretty good, which doesn't surprise me because it actually looked really good. Murder on the Orient Express. Now we're speaking my language. I am beyond hyped because many of you are like, "Oh, isn't that a book?" I'm like, "Fam, you calm down." I am such a massive fan of, not a massive, okay, I'm not a massive fan, but I read it. I know I at least read part of Murder on the Orient Express. I can tell you I know how it ends. Not spoiling it, though. If you are looking for a very good book to read, Murder on the Orient Express. Amazing! Amazing! Good thing we're now in the final 15 minutes of the show because I'm starting to lose my voice. We have Murder on the Orient Express, stellar movie. Or I'm sorry, not stellar. I don't know how good the movie is going to be. If they just copy the book, that's all they got to do. All they have to do, copy the book. But all I have to say is though, I can already tell you what the #1 movie of the year is. The Emoji Movie. sorry. Anyways, if you'd like to call in for our final segment of the show, which is going to be potential show changes / plans for the 20th show, the number is Ben.exe has expired. No, I'm kidding. 719-284-5873 with the pin 24777. Once again, the number is 719-284. Yeah, let me start from the beginning. 719-284-5873 with the pin 24. 719-284-5873 with the pin 24777. I think I got it right, but for some reason I kept wanting to restart. I don't know why. Weird. Anyways, it looks like this will not be the last show unless things go horribly wrong in these final 15 minutes because I'm actually feeling really good. This was actually a good show. Not stellar, but good. I had kind of a bad feeling at the beginning, and then as we got into it, I had a really good feeling, and it kind of landed in the middle. No, actually, it was leaning more towards good. It was a good show today. Good show. Better than a couple of the last ones in my view, but good show today. Mostly because my spam system didn't get overridden. So for the final thing, updates to the show. Now, real quick, I'd like to talk about before I do updates, because I can always do posts on this. This stuff I don't want to do posts on. I want to talk about this first thing. Why today might have been the last show. If you follow if you don't just watch the shows as they come out, if you actually follow me on Google Plus, you can see that I wasn't feeling very hot last Saturday. It was a kind of like a lung thing or like heart thing. I'm not totally sure, but we thought maybe and it seemed like it happened when I got exerted or hungry or something like that. We weren't, and no one, I didn't know what it was. Like we weren't sure, but it wasn't a major thing, and it kind of died off quickly. So we just kind of decided to take it easy, and things were all right. Then the pains pretty quickly died down. Like 2 days later, they were gone. Excuse me. Then I had one more yesterday, but it was a very short one yesterday, and I haven't had any today. We want to see if I'd have one during the show today. None. And if I would have had one during the show, this would have been the last show. I would have cut the show short. And assuming one doesn't happen in the next 13 minutes, we're not cutting the show short because I am not. And let me make this perfectly clear. Many YouTubers like, oh, I care about my fans more than myself, and whether or not they're telling the truth or not, I will not lie to you people. I value my own health above this YouTube channel. If this endangers my health in any way, I'm not going to keep doing it. But it doesn't seem like it is. So, yippee-ki-yay, this is not the last show. You haters are probably hating right now, but hey, you guys who like the show, like to call in a good bit, you guys are now reassured that there will almost definitely, again, unless things go wrong in these last 12 minutes, be a show 19 and soon to be a show 20. But for that's the first thing I was to address, the most imperative thing. But I'm fine. Don't need to do a hashtag Ben kidnapped or any crap like that. I'm fine. The next thing I'd like to talk about is why I was so late. So my parents, we want to get a new car. So we were kind of like running around everywhere, and we couldn't get done with stuff until around 1:55. And I typically like to be home and ready by 2:40 at the latest. And after everything was done, we weren't home and we had to get lunch too because I was starving. And one time I tried doing the show without eating lunch, and by the time I came out, I almost had to be carried down to the couch. I was feeling so horrible. It's like I'm never ever gonna do the show before eating lunch again. Hell, I'll skip the show or I'll eat lunch during the show for all I care, but I'm not skipping the show again. I'm sorry, I'm not skipping lunch before a show again. So like we weren't taking that chances, especially with a 2-hour show. With 1-hour shows, it's okay. With the 2-hour shows, not happening. Not happening. And yes, I know I didn't do a poll for these last couple 2-hour shows asking should I do 4 30-minute segments or 8 15-minute segments. It just seems like you guys like the 8 15-minute segments better. So not by much, but you do. So I'm just gonna go with 8 15-minute segments. If there's ever a 2.5 or 3-hour show or something like that, I'm gonna ask. So that was basically why I was so flustered coming in, why I had an orange juice, even though we don't have orange juices in the house currently and hardly ever do. So that's the story behind that. Those are the two things I wanted to get out of the way pretty much immediately. Now we can start talking about plans for the show in the future. I could not set it up today because today's show is very rushed. But either 19 or 20, I'm going to have a theme song. That's right. This show is going to have a theme song. At the beginning and end of the show, I'm going to play a little tune. I might even have breaks at some point. But we'll see how that goes. I'm not sure I'm going to have to get breaks. I don't think I'm going to do breaks, but like at the beginning and end of a show, I got a little ditty. I just haven't set it all up yet. And it's actually a really cool song. I want to like master like getting it done on time and all kind of weird like editing stuff. Like I want to get that stuff down before because if I would have done it today, it would have just been rushed. And this show is already extremely tight, so I didn't want to take any chances, and I just decided, nah, fam. So that's one update. Another thing is, what should I do for show 20? Some people said I should do a charity thing, which is like do a live stream until $20 are donated. That's actually a pretty good idea. Just like do BMS until no matter how long, could be 5 minutes long, or it could be 5 hours long. If I don't get $20, which I highly doubt, but if I don't get $20 like after 6 hours, I'm done. I'm gonna take hourly breaks, by the way, in those shows. If I do that for show 20, but I am done. I'm done. I am DONE. Done. Done after 6 hours. Because that would just be completely insane. Like I don't know how people like Nairo do these like every single day, practically 5 days a week, 4 weeks a month, pretty much live streams for nearly 12 hours. Like I believe he does 6 p.m. right 6 p.m. my time to like around 4 to 4:30 a.m. So okay, not 12, but like 10 and a half hours streams. Probably 10 including breaks. So like 10-hour stream. Like how do you do that stuff? So I don't know how he does it, but which equates to around 50 hours a week, 200 hours of streaming a month. I don't know how people can do that. Because let's be fair. How? Also, I should have another live stream coming out tonight. Probably, I don't know, after the show, because I have nothing else to do today. All I have to do is my live stream. And that'll pretty much be it for the day. Actually, that won't pretty much be it. That'll be it. I don't have to do anything else today. So some people were suggesting a charity thing. Others were suggesting I just do another 2 hours show. I want to see if I can get the intro outro thing. Maybe I'll just do it on show 20 just so like there's a reason to commemorate it. And yes, I will be doing something for show 20 and 25, and I'll be talking about 25 almost immediately after 20, like 3 weeks later. Figured to do a double celebration because the next one won't be until 25 shows after that. Show 50. I should also have my live stream. I think I'm gonna do it tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow's probably good. So I'm gonna do a little bit of stuff on Instagram. So if you want to know about how my charity live streams are gonna go, and like what everything I'm gonna do, like explaining charity event and all that sort of stuff. I'm gonna be doing a bit of marketing. I'm gonna be doing it in my story. I'm gonna be texting my friends. I'm gonna be making a video on it. And then I'm gonna do the live stream. I'm gonna wait until we get a couple people watching. So that's me fidgeting with a pen because I've been bored here for the last. Not bored. I wouldn't say bored. But I've been like my hands and legs have been pretty much unoccupied for the last nearly 2 hours, and we might have to end the show early because I don't have too many ideas. And that would be honestly okay since I typically like to do shows a little bit longer, a little bit shorter, so it doesn't really matter if it's a couple minutes off, especially on these 2-hour shows. I mean, like no one is gonna mind if I end 5 minutes, 3 minutes early, even though it's a bit more than usual. But those are just a couple ideas. I'm wondering if there are any others I left out. So we have the intro, outro song, charity thing, just normal 2-hour stream. Some people are suggesting I do another co-host. So that might be a good idea. I could do like some co-hosting. I could do face cam. And I think those are gonna be my main 5 ideas. I'm gonna make a poll asking people what they want to see for show 20. Yeah, those are the main 5 options. If you have any others, I'll boot whichever one I think is weakest. I'll let you guys know which one is weakest real quick as soon as I think about one. So let's think. I got my charity thing and face cam. Probably face cam. Yeah, so face cam right now is lowest. Then we have just a normal 2-hour show. I think that 2-hour show would be better than face cam. Then face cam and Sid charity stream. Co-host, definitely co-host would be cooler. And I believe that's it. So the first one off the list would be a face cam. Yeah, so, and it's not like I'm afraid to show my face or anything, or I'm gonna do like a big face reveal. Like everyone knows my face. It's my icon and everything. I mean, you people know. And I'm gonna be doing some segments. Speaking of my face, I'm gonna be doing some segments on TV coming up here. Some stuff about my personal life and how it's gonna tie into a greater segment. But all that's gonna come later. I believe that's gonna do it. Again, I will be releasing a poll, hopefully sometime soon, about what the Shrek's going to be going on. And yes, I love using that term. Whew. Anyways, we got a bit intense with this show, so I think I'm going to call it early. Thank you everybody so much for joining me. Let me know what ideas you want to hear. Please reshare this and everything. I know I typically don't say that, but please reshare this and everything. Once again, on the Ben Moskalensky show, fact's not a fact unless it's a fact. And as seen by today, I can't screw up, but let's be fair. This is my first major screw up in I started in June, so this is my first major screw up of a 4-month-long show. I think that's a pretty good track record, and that makes me relatively trustworthy. Then again, maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe you all hate me. I don't know. Either way, unless you're a jerk, have a nice day.